Hey everybody, welcome back to James Draws Everything. This is James, continuing today with our Drawing Every Country in the World's Flag series. And today we're going just off the coast of India, this little island right over here, the country of Sri Lanka. All right, and guys, not gonna lie, I really don't know much of anything about this country, and I think we're gonna do something a little bit different today. All right, so I did not do any homework on this country at all. All right, hold on, I'll explain. And I think what we're going to do today, I'm just going to pull up some info on Sri Lanka, and this stuff is going to be news to me, right? So you're going to learn something, and I'm going to learn something. I'm just going to kind of go down the page, and you're going to get my live, honest reactions to the comings and goings in Sri Lanka. Yeah, because all I really know about this country, I'm guessing it was probably British, right? Because it's south of India at some point. I know they used to be called Ceylon. I know that a guy shot up a bunch of Christians on Easter there a few years ago. I know I shouldn't laugh, but that's all I really know about this country. All right, so that's a pretty good way of getting around saying that I didn't do my homework, right? So you're going to get a special James Draws Everything episode where it's going to be complete live reactions, right? And I think it's good that we're doing that for this country, right? Because with all of these South Asian and Southeast Asian, right? Although this is more South Asia, all these countries are pretty crazy. I always kind of think of them as like, they're portrayed as like the country in the 80s movie where, you go to stay with the monks up in the mountains while you learn karate before coming back to the United States to beat up the bad guy. And, they're nice, peaceful, and just a bunch of monks in a monastery and whatnot. And no, that's actually almost never what's actually going on in these places. So I'm going to find out more about Sri Lanka today, and so are you. All right, and we're going to start off just by extending our flag here because it has a very long flag and a pretty cool one, I think. So I hope this flag surprises me too once I find out what it's all about, because it's got a giant lion holding a sword. That's pretty based. All right, so as I'm doing this, just look over my little infographic here, and let's find out about Sri Lanka. All right, so the Sinhalese people arrived in Sri Lanka in about the 6th century BC, likely from northern India. Okay, so that makes sense, right? So close to India people. And Buddhism was introduced to the area around 250 BC. Right, so it's an old religion. The first kingdoms developed in the cities of Anuradhapura and Palanarua. So going up to about 1000 AD there. So we have some early kingdoms in this area. All right, let me just get rid of some of these lines here because this is going to be yellow going around. It's got kind of like a frame around what almost looks like two flags. It's kind of like two things put together here. So in the 14th century, sounds like a South Indian dynasty, a Tamil dynasty, right? I know a little about Tamils, right? The Tamil Tigers. So they form, I guess, kind of like an early state in that area, a Tamil kingdom in northern Sri Lanka. And then the Portuguese show up in the 16th century. I like the Portuguese. They're like my favorite colonizers, right? So if you want to know more about Portugal, I will refer you to my Portugal episode where I talk about Portuguese. I talk about pluricontinentalism and their empire, which I think is a little underrated in history. Portugal deserves a lot more credit than it gets, right? It's not really talked about in the same vein as like the British Empire, but it should be. I like the Portuguese. All right, but doesn't sound like they stayed there too long, because then the Dutch show up in the 17th century, and then in 1796 it goes to the British. I knew the British were going to show up eventually. Damn it! Yeah, so they take over in 1796, and this island becomes a crown colony in 1802. And it was formally united in 1805. Right, so the British, they're already in India by this point, right? So I guess they're coming in and colonizing the future Sri Lanka. It's got like it's got a little Irish flag in the middle here, kind of. So surprised, the Irish, they never had an empire, so I don't know what their flag's doing here, but maybe we'll find out. All right, so then they become Ceylon, right? Ceylon, and if you got maps or globes or whatever that still say Ceylon on them, you should probably replace them because they're very outdated. And I bring that up because for whatever reason, I remember in elementary school, one of our maps, like in class, actually had this country as Ceylon. And it had been decades out of date by that point. But, school budgets and whatnot, our poor underfunded schools, right? We fund education more than pretty much any civilization in history. And we can't afford updated maps and globes, right? Because we got to pay all them bureaucrats and the teachers unions, right? That's way more important than actually teaching kids. Uh-oh. James is going on a little tangent again, a little rant. All right, what was I talking about? Let me get back on topic here. I know, because I can just go for days and days off topic. This channel, I try to do my best, but sometimes it just it goes completely off the rails, and so ragging on public education and all right, back on topic, James. Ceylon. All right, so it achieves independence from the British in 1948, and then they changed the name to Sri Lanka in 1972. Yeah, and I was looking at that map and that globe well after that point in time. So maybe they had it up there though for historical reasons, right? It's good to know what things used to be called and what the borders and empires used to be named and where they stood. So maybe there was a reason for that. Maybe I'm just giving some undue criticism towards those noble teachers unions and public education budgets. Anyways, again, James, back on track. Okay, I'm sorry if any teachers are watching this, but I know you probably aren't. So now they're independent, all right? And then they got a lot of tensions because you got a Sinhalese majority, and then you got Tamil separatists, right? Ooh, are those Tamil tigers I keep hearing about? So it sounds like you got a lot of problems. Sounds kind of similar to India, right? Because they have a lot of problems with, it's not just Indian people, right? You got a lot of different ethnic groups that you would think of as just like Indians, right? But India doesn't see it that way, right? Very different cultures and class structures in those in that kind of multicultural, multi-ethnic state, right? So to an outsider, maybe they think it's all the same, but yeah, these countries have a lot of problems. So tensions, right? A lot of tensions. So they're just pulling these strings so tight, so much tension that this place erupted into a civil war in 1983. Oh my God! Again, my knowledge of these countries, again, they're the fun countries you go to in an 80s movie where you stay with some monks in a monastery for a few months learning karate. And no, these are very violent. Very violent and a lot of upheaval in their history. So Sri Lanka, man, we're already into a civil war, right? A decade after independence. So you got the Sinhalese government and then the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam, the LTTE. See, I knew they were going to show up, the Tamil Tigers. So they erupt, and those are the main parties in this civil war. It's erupting all over the place, just eruptions everywhere, just can't clean up the mess. And a lot of people died during this civil war, right? Lasted for over a quarter century. And Hold on, I got to make sure I'm reading this right. So it lasted over a quarter century, and then Norway brokered peace negotiations. Well, hold on a minute. Wait. Norway? What the hell does Norway have to do with this country? So I guess Norway, of all places, brokered the peace agreement between the Tamils and the Sinhalese. So I know absolutely nothing about that, and I want to know more now. So, see, James, you can, just because you didn't do your homework today, you still learned something. And now I'm probably going to go find out more about why the hell Norway was here. And this was in fairly recent memory, too. This isn't ancient history. So, yeah, Norway brokers a peace agreement, and that led to a ceasefire in 2002. Right? So that took a minute, that civil war. And yeah, Norway, what on earth? So I guess Norway might have had some kind of interest in this place. I mean, Norway, you don't really think of them as caring too much about this part of the world. But maybe they just did it for altruistic reasons, right? Maybe Norway was just, they didn't have anything to do that day, just being way up there in Scandinavia, just all nice and peaceful. And they said, you know what, we gotta give back to the world a little bit. So let's go broker some peace agreements. And I don't know, and that I think they did the thing where you spin the globe, and then wherever your finger lands, that's where you go. I think they did that, and it landed on Sri Lanka, and they said, well, I guess we got to go help Sri Lanka. So they did it. And that's my version of the story. You know what? I actually don't care about the real version of the story anymore. That's what happened in my book. Norway just didn't have anything else to do that day, so they brokered a peace agreement in the Sri Lankan Civil War. So good on you, Norway. All right, so let's just draw this awesome lion here with a sword. And this thing is like kind of serpentine a little bit with this tail. Looks like a snake or something, or a dragon. Dragon mixed with a lion. That's like I don't know. That's like a shark with a machine gun or something. It's like just the shark is enough. You're giving a lion a sword. Yikes! I don't want to run into one of those. Okay, so let's get rid of our pencil lines. Yeah, the lion is. That's enough. That's enough to make me turn around and go the other way. All right. So we got a ceasefire, but then the fighting slowly resumed. Oh man, I guess Norway must have been occupied with something else, because it sounds like they just did their good deed and left for the day and then found something else to do. So it was in full force again, the Civil War, by 2006. And then the government finally crushed the LTTE, the Tamil Tigers, in 2009. All right, so that took a minute, right? That Civil War. Maybe Norway should have just colonized them, right? I'm sure they could have found a good reason to. Right? Norway never really had an empire, right? It's no fair that all these other European places get one. Maybe Norway could have took Sri Lanka and just colonized the crap out of it. Probably be a lot less turmoil there, right? You ain't doing no fighting under the Norwegians. Or maybe they do, right? Maybe you see some the Tamil Tigers start talking smack to the Vikings or something. Then we got a real problem, right? I don't even want to imagine what that Civil War would look like. But yeah, the fighting resumes, and they finally crush the Tigers. And that kind of brings us up to the modern age, the modern times, recent memory in Sri Lanka. So the post-conflict years, you have a president, Rajapaksa, and they started some infrastructure development projects. A lot of loans from China to do those. So you got a new master now, right? You don't get anything for free from China. All right, they might give it to you at a low cost, at a fire sale prices. But there's always some strings attached to that, so be careful, Sri Lanka. You don't want to deal with them. Let me just draw this sword. Okay, and then you got a lot less of a focus on democracy. We love democracy in the international community. So they start cracking down on democracy, just like good authoritarians do, my people. And then there's a lot of human rights violations. And then in 2015, you get a new coalition government headed by President Sirisena of the Sri Lankan Freedom Party, and then Prime Minister, oh boy, here we go, Wickremesinghe of the United National Party. So they joined their parties with pledges to advance economic, political, and judicial reforms. However, implementation of these reforms was questionable at best. So that's not good. You guys are trying, but it's just you're not doing your best. So sounds like this country still has it still has a long way to go. Right? If they want to join the international community and be part of that free and democratic Western world, right? So we need to implement a lot more policies. We need to give them a lot of money, probably, right? We always need to give these countries a lot of money to make sure that they're free. So I'm sure the United States and their NGOs are involved in this place somehow, because we're involved in every part of the world. And yeah, so after these reforms were somewhat successful, somewhat unsuccessful, they had some concerns about Rajapaksa's administration, because he appointed his brother as the prime minister, and more human rights abuses, less judicial reform, lack of accountability in government, and they're defaulting on their foreign creditors. Uh-oh. What does this country make anyway to trade? So I don't know. I really don't. Maybe silk? Who knows? All right, so let's get our lion in here. We need to do justice to this lion because he looks awesome. So they have an ongoing kind of economic crisis. A lot of stuff like, and I can't say this on the channel, but the thing that happened in 2020, they had some problems with that. Severe shortages of food, medicine, fuel, power outages. What is this, Africa? So that creates more violent protests beginning in 2022. And the Prime Minister, Wickremesinghe, again, wow, he served 5 times. They attempted to replace him, but then it sounds like he became president when Rajapaksa fled the country. Wow. Interesting. Right? So the president fled the country for some reason. And why? We don't know, because my cheat sheet isn't telling me. And I didn't do my homework. So let's just make up a story. He left because, I don't know. He liked Norway so much he decided to go there. Did he go to Norway? Again, I don't know. This is Sri Lanka, guys. Just cut me some slack. All right, so what do you think so far, huh? Pretty topsy-turvy, up and down kind of history with this place. It sounds like the scars of that civil war, haven't really fully healed. Sounds like they got a lot of political turmoil and all that good stuff. What else is going on here outside of their history? Let's see. Oh, this sounds pretty cool. So I guess just winging it live here, guys. So I guess that there's believed to be a land bridge that used to connect this island to India. So a 50-kilometer land bridge connected India and Sri Lanka. And they believe that in ancient times, a foot passage was actually possible. You could trek by foot in between India and Sri Lanka. And then they think the two land masses were separated when the land bridge broke up in the 15th century due to a cyclone. Wow. That's pretty amazing, right? A cyclone just ripped this country away from India. Would this be part of India if it wasn't for that? I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, when you think of land separations, I mean, you think like really, really like prehistoric times, right? Like when the continents were still together and before they separated, and as glaciers melted and created new pathways and all that stuff. The 15th century isn't that long ago in the grand scheme of things. So the fact that this country was, or the land that became the country was separated by a natural disaster, that recently in recorded history is kind of cool, right? That'd be like if California just broke away from the United States, right? They just floated out into the sea. I know, don't get your hopes up. But sorry, Californians. Yeah, so I'm pretty interested in this place, right? This has got a pretty weird, unique history, right? You got Buddhists in the ancient times. You got loans from China that they defaulted on. You got a lot of civil wars and tigers, and president just decides to bail one day and just move on to greener pastures. You know, the British were there, the Portuguese were there, but for whatever reason, Norway decided to broker a peace agreement. So you never know what you're going to expect, right, in this part of the world. All these countries, their histories are usually, I don't know, man, like something out of a movie, right? They're pretty crazy. So let's just finish coloring in this flag here. Again, I really like the flag. It's got a, you're not going to confuse this with any other country, right? There's only one flag that looks like this. Very long, kind of almost separated into two different parts here. All right, and then we'll get to what the flag means in a minute. Let me just finish coloring in this stuff. Not a lot of countries use this color either, right? This is way more of like a maroon, you know, than like your blood red, right? You know, what does the blood red mean, right? If you guys watch my channel for almost every country, you know that means the struggle, the blood shed for independence. I got a feeling that it might mean something different for this one, but we'll see. All right, so let's just tighten up around his legs just a little bit where we left some spots. And I think we're pretty good. All right, so let's see what the flag means. And again, your guess is as good as mine. This is James Draws Everything, spitball take, just blowing it live today. So we got a yellow with two panels with green and orange. And then a yellow lion holding a sword on a maroon field. And I guess these four things are bow leaves that are in the corner. So the lion, that's the Sinhalese ethnicity, right? So not the Tamils. And represents the strength of the nation and bravery. The sword is the sovereignty of the nation. And then those four bow leaves represent Buddhism and its influence on the country. Ooh, and there's four of them that each one of these is, I guess, stands for a separate virtue as well. So you got the virtues of kindness, friendliness, happiness, and equanimity, right? So I don't know if I pointed out the right ones or if they can be any four, but again, your guess is as good as mine. So the orange over here, that signifies Sri Lankan Tamils. Oh man, so they are represented. I was going to guess maybe that's why they're so mad they're not on the flag, but nope, they're on the flag. So orange for the Tamils, the tigers, and then the green is for the Sri Lankan Moors. All right, so they got a Moor population there. So this place is got all kinds of different people. And then the maroon in here is the Sinhalese majority, and the yellow that is everywhere else in the flag represents other ethnic groups as the lion, or other ethnic groups. And then I guess this is also called the lion flag. So, you know, if you're Italian or if you're Egyptian, you just get classified as other. You're the yellow in the Sri Lankan flag. But at least they tried, right? So you got, what did I say? You got the Sinhalese, you got the Tamils, you got the Moors, and then everybody else. So If you're etc. ethnicity in Sri Lanka, you're the yellow. So I like it. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's finish it off. We've got Sri Lanka. Pretty cool flag. Pretty interesting history, right? I hope I entertained you with my my live hot takes on Sri Lankan history, and yeah, I learned something too. So let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video.